course, the French won 25-18 at Headingley last season.
A funny kind of a day. It's bright blue sunshine, but there's a very, very strong wind blowing down the park, and it'll be very, very important what kind of a start Great Britain get off to.
Indeed. Last season's match here, you remember, Alec, was very much a close-run thing, and if France had taken their chances, David Fress, you remember, was pulled back when he was well away, they might have won it.
Yes, well, I think the last experience of playing in Perpignan, I think will have really shaken the Great Britain lads. And not only that, France went to Headingley and came away with the results. Now, I think that the French side have improved a little bit. They're very, very partisan over here, and I think Great Britain are going to have to be at the very, very best to win.
Yes, a fine sunny afternoon, a good big crowd. It'll be a noisy one here in the Pyrenees. They love their rugby and they make a lot of noise. France, of course, today welcome back, captaining the side, Gilles Dumas, the little halfback who did so much to mastermind the victory of Headingley last season. They've lots of experience. They've got David Fress and Guy Delaunay, two very good centres. The powerful wing, Cyril Pons, who got the French try here last season, and of course Patrick Contard, who's been playing with Hull. He'll be a much better player for playing with Hull in the English League.
Yes, he's been here now like 12 months, Keith, and he's improved tremendously. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting game.
Very windy, as you said, because Gary Schofield not able to get the ball on the spot for the kickoff. Greg McCallum looking carefully at his watch. He was one of the interested spectators yesterday at that match at Limoux when the under-21s absolutely slaughtered the French. Inside the French 22. And already the forwards having their little sorting out period. Marc Tisser. Patrick Contard acting halfback. Peteria Valero. Oh, a rebound off Jim. Oh, what a chance! Paul Eastwood. Dumas' kick. Charge down. Powell. Probably hear the wind on the microphones, extremely strong. Good attack this. Hanley. Well pulled down, but Great Britain about 20 yards away from the French line. Betts.
Going to be the ball back to the fullback, down the park, and play France in their own 25.
But France getting it away with Valero, but a good tackle, good cover by Jackson. Contard, Patrick Contard, Tisser. That's the new cap, Magnac. France moving it well. Contard not able to wriggle through. Dumas takes it. The long ball. Daniel Verde. Valero, Dumas, the kick, that's surely too long, but it still puts Hampson in a bit of trouble.
Yes, and it just shows, you know, the ground is very, very hard also, and Stevie Hampson really didn't know which way the ball was going to bobble. Dumas, again, he's going to be the general of this side, isn't he? Him and Patrick Contard, and I think they're doing exceptionally well staying in the Great Britain 25-yard line, because the wind is very, very strong indeed.
There you see it, it flies up. And Cyril Pons doing well to take that. It came at him very fast. Strong running winger from Saint-Gaudens. Oh, and he lost it. What a tackle that must have been. It knocked the ball out of Pons' grasp.
Well, there's not many knock Pons down like that. It just showed you how fired up this Great Britain side is. They've been working hard. They know this is a very, very important game. And they know that they've got to get a good result from this game.
Young Ian Lucas, the Wigan forward, anxious to make a mark. He's in for the suspended Carl Harrison. That's Schofield to Hanley. Hanley dropped it, of all people. Oh, good running. That's superb running by the new Cap au Roi, the fullback. France coming quickly. Contard to Dumas. Molinaire. Tisser, Pons, good rugby. And he got it out too. Oh, fine stuff. Onta. The crowd loving this, Alec.
Well, this is exciting football, and it just show you what kind of a game this is going to be. France have really got the tails up.
A splendid attack this by France. They trail by 6 points to 0. And it looks as if David Fress may well have lost it. Yes, indeed. What's Mr. McCallum giving his scrum? But this is good stuff from France.
He's give a scrum down, but that was great football by France. They put a lot of pressure on there, and like I say, Great Britain will not want too many of those because they'll want to get a few points in front, because in the second half, I think France are going to throw everything at them.
So Great Britain momentarily pinned in their own 22, but now it's Hanley trying to break away. Good solid tackling by Fress and Pons.
And there's not many people can do that to Ellery Hanley. It just shows you the strength of Cyril Pons.
Holiday having a good start to his international career. Edwards, Schofield. All right on the burst comes Betts. There's several men up. Gibson, a fire. And once he's away, the sprinter's away. Martin afire after that period of French attacking. Betts making the big opening, and the long ball to afire, and once he had the ball with a foot or two to spare, Alec Curtin.
Yes, and again, a simple run-around move. He was here, Martin afire in overdrive, really, and he's still got 1 or 2 gears left. He's just looking round, he's looking at the French player saying, well, I'm going for the line. Is there any chance you getting near me? I don't think there is. That is a very, very good try.
And this, I'm afraid, from a French point of view, Alec, is exactly what happened against the Australians, you remember. They did a lot of good spirited attacking, but they were beaten for pace on the flanks, on the breakaways.
Yes, and it's a try again under the post, so really it's 12 points, and that's a vast amount of points to pull back. But it was a great move started off by Gary Schofield and Dennis Betts. Dennis Betts running out wide where he does most damage, and a lovely ball out to Martin afire. And once Martin afire had the ball, well, that was the end of the story. It was a try all the way.
Tremendous running by Great Britain for both of their tries as Eastwood puts it over again, 12-0. A point-a-minute opening for Great Britain. So France, after some excellent attacking, exciting attacking, have nothing to show for it.
But I think the problem is with France, with the strength of this win, they've got to do the basics right. What they did, like only the French can do, is they wanted to attack the British line, and I think they paid the penalty, because with people like Martin afire and Dennis Betts really running on all cylinders, I think you cannot afford to give them space on the outside.
Come on, come on.
Hampson, Eastwood, 12-0 to Great Britain. Jackson. Edwards deciding to kick. It's a good one too. Oh, it bounced awkwardly. Auroy.
But I think them's the tactics, Keith, aren't they, really? There's where the Great Britain lads really need France. They know that the tackling is as important as scoring tries, and they've been working very, very hard all week at it.
There, Boutignol. Ontaz acting half-back. Tisser. Inside the French 22. 12-0 to Great Britain. Good start by them. Of Magnac. They're having to throw the ball quickly. It's Dumas. Oh, what a poor pass by Dumas. Didn't seem to know exactly what he was doing there.
Well, I think Dumas wanted somebody to come short on the ball, but like I said, the Great Britain line was up very, very quick and took all the markers out, and there was no way for Dumas to go.
And it was the 6th tackle, so Great Britain took over possession. Lucas. Jackson is acting halfback. Edwards trying to... Oh, Schofield! I think it's a forward pass, Alec.
Yes, I think Greg McCallum was right on the spot. I think the referee was the right decision, but that's what Shaun Edwards can do. Once he made the break and Gary Schofield in support, there was always going to be a try. But just have a look, Shaun Edwards. Yes, I think the referee was right on the spot, but that's the kind of thing Great Britain are very, very good at.
It's Gary Schofield just a little too keen. Good move. France again pending their own 22, and we have an injury.
And that could be a very, very important injury as far as France are concerned.
Mr. McCallum insisting that play continues with another acting halfback taking over. Meanwhile, Gilles Dumas having attention. France would be in parlous state without him. Little General. They're already trailing by 12-0 under a lot of pressure. Gilles Dumas being lifted up out of picture at the moment, looking very groggy as France continue. And the tackling by Great Britain absolutely ruthless.
Yes, it's good tackling by Great Britain, but you know, France, they're not throwing the towel in. They want to attack, and I think that you know, if Great Britain are going to win this match, they're going to have to put some more points on the board, because this win is very, very strong indeed.
It is, but so is the Great Britain attack at the moment. Andy Platt having one of his charges. Gets over the 22. Holiday. Very close to line now. Edwards again with Schofield. Edwards. Hanley refusing to go down to the first tackle. Just 7 or 8 yards from the French line, looking for a third try. Schofield. Jackson. Good tackling. That really was. They monitored that well and took Jackson out. But Schofield a drop goal. Yes. Well, don't come away with nothing, as they say, Alec.
Well, that's what your mother used to say to you, if, when you get near the line, and never come away without a point. And that's what Gary Schofield did. He had the simple option. He knew it was the 5th or the 6th tackle, and just put one over. That could be a very important point, really, at the end of the day.
So France kick off for the 3rd time, already trailing by 13-0. Could well be that Malcolm Reilly has told the Great Britain lads that what Australia can do, so can we. So they won't show any mercy.
Well, I think what they're going to do, they're going to have to... there's a yardstick of the way the Australians played over here, and they really did take France apart. And I think Great Britain will be looking for something on that lines that individual places are up for grabs, and some of the lads will want to put the best foot forward.
Yes, Betts, Platt. Always a strong runner from a standing start, Andy Platt. Malcolm really said he hits the gain line quickly. Shaun Edwards making the most of his opportunity since taking over from David Hume.
Yes, well, there was a lot of controversy about Shaun, which position he was going to play in, and obviously Gary Schofield's got the number 6 shirt, so Shaun quite happy to play number 7.
Gary Schofield finding touch, so it'll be head on ball to France, but they find themselves against this fierce wind and in the accustomed position of being back in their own 22 and 13-0 down. Has trouble, terrible trouble. Mr. McCallum a little kindly saying it wasn't a knock-on. Offside against Great Britain. No, he's not given it. I thought Mr. McCallum was going to whistle up then, but he decided to get back into position. Now Dumas is fit again and attacking half-back. On to the short ball for Tisser, but still the Great Britain tackling holds. Dumas, Valero, not being allowed to make much ground.
No, and France do realise they've got to do the basics right. They've got to play the 6 tackles, but you know, France, they like throwing the ball about, and the way Great Britain are tackling, there's no way can I see them breaking this line.
It's interesting to see so far, Alec, that the 2 centres, Delaunay and Fraisse, have hardly been in the game for France.
Well, obviously, I think David Fraisse, in the second half, that's when you'll see the French 3-quarter line come into being. But these are very, very dangerous positions for France. This is where Great Britain want to be, and surely they'll come away from this position with a try.
Shaun Edwards, Holiday, Hanley. Oh, that looked pretty high, but Hanley, from a position where he loves to come in and score, held that time, but it carries on. Schofield, a long one to a fire. Well smothered by Ramirez. Betts going up the touchline. Well, he was pretty close, no matter inches away. Well, that was a cute little move by Dennis Betts.
Well, I think Dennis Betts was a little bit unlucky there, because he saw that the French line was going to move up very, very quickly, and obviously he was looking for the obstruction try. I think Greg McCallum was straight on the spot and drop out under the sticks. But this is where Great Britain want to be, Keith.
No, he's given, has he given the penalty?
Well, he's given obstruction try, and that's what it looks like to me.
Yes.
I didn't think he never pointed. It didn't look as though he'd give a try.
It looked like a dropout. It's an obstruction try.
Well, that was a strange decision. Dennis Betts did look as though he wanted the try. He knew what he was doing. He's obviously done this kind of thing before. And Greg McCallum has given it.
So a try to Dennis Betts, who kicked over the line and was obstructed from going for it. So that's Great Britain's 3rd try.
Well, I think this is getting like the under 21s, a point a minute, and surely this is a great start for Great Britain and not the start France would required.
Once again, Shaun Edwards has to come and hold the ball. Certainly Mr. McCallum not making his decision too clear there, and it looked for a matter of seconds as if he might have given it a drop out under the post.
Well, he did, but I think he was always going to give the penalty, and this should be another easy conversion for Eastwood.
All 3 kicks have been under the posts, so Great Britain racing ahead now to 19 points to 0 with that goal from Paul Eastwood, his 3rd simple one, and the Perpignan crowd getting a little cross and annoyed and irate, understandably. They're not seeing much from their own side.
Well, I think it's going to be a long wait for these Perpignan crowd, because it's like I say, the wind is absolutely blasting down the field, and
that's a penalty.
There you can see now the kick-off, the wind ended up and then finished taking in touch.
And now some of the Perpignan crowd getting against their side, beginning to boo poor Gilles Dumas.
Well, I don't think there's any need for that, but having said that, you know, in France, they do like seeing the side score tries and play football, but I think in these conditions, there's not a lot they can do about it.
With Great Britain bidding fair to have this one well won by half-time to make life a little easier against the wind in the second half. 19-0, Great Britain leading. Lee Jackson, Paul Eastwood. Lucas, Holiday. Holiday trying to keep it moving just outside the French 22, where most of the action has been. Low. Bodies flying everywhere like an American football game.
Yes, well, it obviously gives Great Britain a chance to work on 1 or 2 moves they've been working on.
Jackson. Edwards is there for the 4th try. It's getting rather too easy, Alec.
Well, it's Great Britain making look easy. I wouldn't say it was getting too easy, because that's the way it is. A beautiful break by young Jackson, and Shaun Edwards, like I say, nobody can finish better than him, and he shows the turn of foot. Just watch, he just like a bullet from the gun. Off he goes, there's no catching him. He's still got a little bit in reserve. That's what he's good at, and that's why he's in the side.
Yes, David Hume will probably have rueful thoughts about his hamstring injury. seeing the way Sean is playing.
Well, I think, you know, that was the Shaun Edwards of old. A lot of people have been saying about Sean, he's not been doing what he can do best, but he did have a very, very bad injury at Wembley. He broke his jaw in 2 places, and really I think he's just getting over that, and I think you'll see the best of Shaun Edwards in the next 12 months.
So Paul Eastwood with another kick, and already with 25 minutes gone, the French stood behind their post with a dejected air. The game has already run away from them. They're taking another caning, such as the Australians delivered, and they've hardly been out of their own half. Another one for Eastwood. 25-0.
And I think you've got to say, Keith, that the French supporters and the team, they absolutely look shell-shocked. They don't know what's hit them. This is a great start by Great Britain. It's just a start they're required, but you can hear the crowd behind me now. They're getting really uptight here, but I don't think there's a lot of things that the French can do about it.
Well, certainly Great Britain have done everything right so far. They've scored 4 good tries. Hampson runs into Molinaire, but up again. Dennis Betts running strongly from the second row.
It's interesting to see where they're playing Dennis Betts today. They're running him wide out, and Dennis is a very, very strong lad. He's got a good pair of hands, and he's quick, and you know they're going to be very difficult to stop in these positions.
Schofield's kick, Pons. Edwards up very quickly, offside, Mr. McCallum says.
Yeah, well, he's dead right. He and the Great Britain lads know it. You must give the man 10 yards, and Cyril Pons did exceptionally well to take that ball because it was really going in some pace.
David Fress, a rare entry into the game, taking that penalty. David Fress is short in his jersey, absolutely clean. He's not had a pass. Well, there he has one. The 2 centres, Fress and Delaunay, playing very close to each other, hardly spread out. Dumas floats it out. Well, that was a penalty, surely. But now the ball banged loosely into touch. It looked to me as if a French player was tackled off the ball there.
Yes, that was, it looked as though it was, but like I say, Greg McCallum's in charge. He was right on the spot, and obviously he didn't see it, and he can only give what he sees.
France, on the rare occasions they have possession, always trying to run the ball in traditional manner, but being given few opportunities. Dumas, well, going in on Auroy. Cyril Pons going inside, looking for work and to do some damage. Here's a strong runner. Valero. David Fress trying to get through. Molinaire. Ontar. Down goes Tisser. Boutignol. That was very untidy play. Mr. McCallum giving 6, but the French not putting their attacks together.
No, you can obviously see the way the French want to play, and you can always see what Great Britain intend them to play. The tackling's always going to be good, and the French only know one way to play, and that's throw the ball about.
Edwards coming up very quickly. Ontar. The tackling extremely good from Great Britain. Dumas. Now Fress. Oh, good ball. Auroy. Pons is there. Pons. What a good tackle. Oh, what a good try. Auroy finishing it off. Good stuff, Alec.
Well, oh, wow, that was a magnificent try, Cyril Pons, and surely that's brought this crowd to life again. That was a try that was never on the cards, and Cyril Pons looks as though he's hurt his back in that. He did well to get the ball back inside, and that was a very, very good try indeed. It looks as though he's hit his back on the the apparatus at the side of the track. But this is a tremendous try by France. Great response by France. Cyril Pons, it looked like Eastwood has him covered here, but inside is Owan. That's a lovely ball back inside, and that's a very good try indeed.
Yes, David Fresh making the initial break.
But I think
Excellent try.
David Fresh is that's the kind of player he is. You can't afford to give him a gap like that. And I think once Gary Schofield had moved in to close him down, Fresh saw the gap and burst through the gap, and that's what he could do. And that's the try he needed.
And although the score at the moment is 25-4, the Perpignan crowd are giving their crowd the applause they deserve. It really was a lovely try.
Well, I think they deserve applause for that, because that was a very, very good try. And under the conditions, the wind is still very, very strong out here, you know. And don't forget, Keith, in this game, if Great Britain can score 4 tries, French are quite capable of scoring 4.
Well, it would certainly make it a contest, and it's Marc Tisser who's taking the kick. A difficult one. He's out on the touchline. He's got this fierce wind blowing straight at him. If he lands this, it'll be some goal.
Well, if he lands this, I think he'll get the George Cross. I honestly believe that goal kick is not one of the strong points in this game, especially with the French.
It was never on, and the sad sight of Cyril Pons. He may well be running off an injury. He's coming up the touchline, Alec. We can't see him in shot just yet. Well,
I think what Cyril Pons did, I think he actually caught his back. He was getting the ball back inside, and how he got the ball back inside, I don't know, but he looks as though he caught his back on one of the obstacles outside the track.
But I think what really made that try, I think many a winger would have been content to have been dragged down. He actually threw the ball inside, and O'Rourke was in the right place.
Yes, it was a very, very good try. A lot of support, and it was well created and well finished.
So now France marginally back in the game. A big scoreline, still 25-4, but that will give them heart. On time. The crowd now giving them backing. Get off him, they're saying in their patois. Marc Tisser. Hungry for the ball now. A little less disorganized. That was a good tackle. Really good smother tackle by Betts. Molinaire. Onta, Dumas, Delaunay. Magnac, and it's the 6th tackle. They haven't made a lot of progress yet. Good idea to kick on the 6th tackle into open space too. Hampson. Well, they've gained a little ground. Powell, not seen much of Daryl Powell so far this afternoon. The centres on both sides being given little opportunity.
Well, I don't think both centres, to be fair, have had many running chances. The game has been 4 quick breaks, 4 tries, and that's the way it is. But I think now Great Britain will be a little bit disappointed to let that last try in, because they realise they're going to have to respond very quickly.
Schofield and Eastwood. Schofield broke a lot of tackles. Off fire, Edwards, Betts, running tremendously hard. Off fire. Tidied up by Gibson. Schofield, Hanley. The 6th tackle. Edwards. Playing extremely well, Shaun Edwards.
Yes, he always thinks about the game. That was another kick, you know. You can't get any closer to the corner flag than that kick. That was a very, very good kick. And again, France under pressure.
They're very close to their own line. They do have head and ball. Patrick Ontar should come away with this. Big push on by the Great Britain pack. Ontar does indeed come away. Tries to sneak round the back. Well collared. Just over half an hour gone. Great Britain leading 25 points to 4. Gilles Dumas. Not the most popular figure with the Perpignan crowd, Gilles Dumas, because he played for Saint-Gaudens.
And I don't think them's the right places for Dumas to be running. You know, I think to be running at Dennis Betts and Meloriani, I wouldn't recommend.
I think an elbow is up there, but Andy Platt got his man. Dumas. Good short ball, but again the smother tackle by Eastwood. France not able to get away from their own 22-metre area. Valero acting half-back. Dumas just throwed it almost anywhere. Molinaire. And bumping into his own player. Dumas gets it out. Well, it's adventurous stuff with Patrick Onta.
And it looks as though Dumas down again, Keith. He took a knock off the ball, and I think he might have a bad injury from the first tackle.
Ellery Hanley now looking for opening. Gets it out to Schofield again, and that's another try for Schofield. With Dumas on the ground injured, Hanley refused to go down, waited for Schofield, released it, and Gary Schofield goes in.
And that's the best way to reply. Once you get that kind of thing with Schofield, there's no way that he misses these chances. He makes it look simple because it is simple. But Keith, you know, France looked as though he was putting Great Britain under a little bit of pressure, and then we have the sucker punch, you know, when you're attacking and defending. All of a sudden, Ellery Hanley broke out of a tackle, didn't go to ground, Gary Schofield in support, and had the simplest of runs to the line.
So Gary Schofield's second try, Great Britain's fifth, and surely another simple kick for Paul Eastwood, who's being given a nice, comfortable afternoon with his kicking.
Yes, you can't ask for anything simpler than being under the post, but you've got to kick him. It's pretty windy out there, but I'm very pleased the way Great Britain are releasing the ball in the tackle. Dennis Betts, to me, is the kind of second row forward who's hitting the gaps. He's running wider out. He looks the part, and with Ellery having the freedom of the ground, well, obviously he's going to create lots of tries for anybody who supports him.
Paul Eastwood now as Gary Schofield takes over the ball holding duties from Sean Edwards. Again, it's easy enough. It won't be quite as easy in the second half.
But that is the try that obviously, you know, you see Gary Schofield just holding the ball there. That's a beautiful shot by the cameraman, and I think Schofield is enjoying this game, Keith.
I think all the Great Britain side are 31-4, and of course what price Great Britain emulating Australia and getting 60 against this French side.
Well, there's 40 minutes to go. It's a tremendous start. They're playing some good football. The finishing is absolutely clinical, and you can't ask for anything more.
No, is that going to go the full 10? Well, Pons got their first knock on. Must be. Go. Little peevishness from Mark Tisser, an exchange of compliments.
Well, it's just one of the little things. I think Andy Platt's saying, you know, there's no harm in that.
Edwards, Eastwood.
I've noticed every time there's a break there, Ellery Hanley is always up with play. He must read this game absolutely superbly.
Lucas. Jackson is acting half-back. Well, decided to do one of those little scurries from acting half-back, didn't come off.
No, I think Great Britain will start moving this ball about because they've certainly got the firepower outside.
They've got the off-firepower. Is that what you're saying, Ali?
Oh, that was a very nice pun, Keith. I think the red wine's finally beginning to work.
Well, that was another quick fire break by Martin Offiah, and it takes play deep inside French territory. Patrick Onta, who's having happier times with Hull this season than he is with France. And it one against the head. If Schofield, an interception, David Fress. Now, has Fress got the pace to do it? I think he has. David Fress, all the way for France. Something like 80 yards, that one.
Well, I think Great Britain will be very, very disappointed about this try because surely they was attacking, and this is the only man on the park. He is a very, very talented player, this young boy. He's got class, he's got pace, he's got size, and once he's in the clear, there's nobody on this park can catch him. That's a good try, a try against all the odds, but there it is.
And the crowd loving that. They're looking for consolations all the time. I think it was Gary Schofield that threw that pass.
Yes, it was a ball off Gary Schofield. And like I say, they are tries you give away. And when the points tallies against you, you know, the bad tries to give away, but take nothing away from David Fraser. Once he got the ball and he knew where he was going, there was nobody on the park was going to get near him.
So 10 points to 31.
And like I say, we've still got the second half to come, and this wind is still blowing very, very strong. I think that's a try that Great Britain could have afforded to do without.
Cyril Pons now restored to full health. We've had a feast of points.
Yes, I think that's a try which will obviously, once the French get in sense of the line, they start throwing the ball about.
6 more, says the referee. Didn't play it, surely. France, of course, feeling the loss of Dumas. Oh, Gary Schofield gets his own back, but the referee won't allow it.
I think what he's saying was that he was stood in an offside position and he wasn't standing straight, but that shows you what Schofield can do. He'll not be too happy about giving the interception try away, but that was quick thinking on Gary Schofield's behalf. He saw that what the French were going to do, he read the game, and only for not standing straight, I think that was another 6 points.
So, Patrick Ontard. A minute to go before half-time, possibly a little injury time. 31-10, Great Britain lead. Free scoring first half, plenty of entertainment for the crowd. We've had 7 tries. Molinaire. Hanley retrieving that.
It'll make it interesting in the second half, Keith, that, you know, France have scored 10 against the wind. It should be very, very interesting indeed.
As the half-time booter blows, and 31-10. Well, excellent attacking by Great Britain, and here we're going to see the ball lost, and Ellery Hanley, it hit Ellery Hanley on the head. Well, I don't know why the referee stopped play there.
No, I think he blew for time. I think that was just something that happened, and Ellery happened to clear it up.
So, well, as I was saying, an excellent start by Great Britain with some fine tries, and they have been tackling well. They've conceded 2 tries, but apart from that, the tackling's been excellent, Ali.
Well, I think what Great Britain are going to have to do in this second half is tackle, and if France can score 2 tries, Great Britain can score 2.
Well, France will certainly have the win, and we'll be back to bring you the action here from Perpignan. France 10, Great Britain 31.
Screen Sport. More choice. Boca Juniors had a marvellous start to the season. Independiente had a disaster. Defending champions River Plate made steady progress. But Newell's Old Boys went into the mid-season break at the top of the table. Don't miss our half-season review. Thursday at 9 on Screen Sport. More choice.
Every weekend, Screen Sport goes Weekend Live.
Chris Eubank defends his WBO middleweight title against Dan Sherry on Saturday night. And the tall guys are tip-top as the Lakers take on the Pistons on Sunday.
Weekend Live. black magic is mumbo jumbo.
Turn back the pages of time to those rocking 50s and those fabulous swinging 60s. Here's a very special opportunity to capture the greatest hits of a very special era. This is the history of rock and roll, an exclusive collection of 3 albums with 50 fabulous hits. From the hula hoop to the twist. From the rock legends of the 50s to the romantic ballads of the 60s. The history of rock and roll has been specially compiled on 3 albums, 3 cassettes, or 2 long-play compact discs, but is not available in any stores. So stand by to make a note of how to get your copy. 50 hits from 2 decades of great music, including Little Richard, The Platters, Duane Eddy, The Drifters, Chubby Checker, Bobby Vee, and many more. The history of rock and roll. To get your set of albums, cassettes, or compact discs, call this number now, and the history of rock and roll will be yours.
I'll make love to you.
Also available, the history of the rock and roll years on 3 exclusive videos. Ask for details when you call. Call now, and remember, the history of rock and roll is not available in any stores.
Do you think that France might miss Gilles Dumas badly in the second half? He's had to go off.
Well, I think they'll miss him, Keith, but I don't think they'll miss him badly. I think he wasn't playing too well. He got a knock early on in the game. I think this game is far from over yet. I think that the French will obviously know they've nothing to lose as throwing the ball about. They've got this very, very strong wind. I think if they do miss Dumas, I think it's going to be with his kicking, because he's a very, very good kicker of the ball. It's going to be interesting to see now what happens, the way Great Britain play in the second half.
Yes, Patrick Corntire is trying to bring his forwards onto the ball, and it was nice to see David Fresk get into the game. And the highlights of the first half coming up.
Well, there's a simple try starting off by Gary Schofield. You couldn't have had a better start for Great Britain. That's what he does best. He's a finisher, and he did that in style. Lovely ball of Dennis Betts, wasn't it?
A beautiful ball, and of course, as you say, Alec, once Gary Schofield gets into the clear, he knows where the line is.
Well, that's what he pays a lot of money for things like that, and he does it well. And here we have Betts again. A lovely break now. Dennis, a beautiful ball to Martin Fire. Now, once he gets it, you can forget about it. He's looking behind. He's still got another about 20 yards in hand there. He's just a flying machine. Here we're seeing again, Keith. Just look at the style. There's only a guy with class can do that. People keep telling me he can't do this, he can't do that. One thing he can do is finish.
And a bit of a chase for poor Ramirez. It was never on. Martin Fire with that touch of arrogance.
And again here, I think this is it. Sean Edwards just makes the gap. There he is against Scully.
But that was that the forward pass?
Yes, I think Greg McCallum was right on the spot, and he brought that back. But just have a look at it. It is slightly forward. I think the way Sean passed the ball indicated that it could have only been forward, but it was very, very marginal.
Yes, the hat-trick as Gary's already got to. Now let's watch this obstruction try.
Well, I think this is a try, actually. See how they held Dennis Betts back there? Dennis realised what he was doing. He saw that the French were lining up. Greg McCallum looked as though he wasn't going to give a try, walked to the sticks, and then put the try on.
Lee Jackson making one for Sean Edwards.
Yes, and again, another great finisher, Sean. He doesn't miss simple chances like that, and these are what good players can do. When you have somebody on the floor, lovely support play. Just watch the acceleration. Zoom, off he goes. That's what he's good at. He's, you know, he's a world-class player, and that's what they're good at.
Sean making the most of his unexpected opportunity. He was originally named as sub. Now, this is a beautiful try by France.
Well, I think this is the best try. David French again. This is great support play by France. Now, just watch Cyril Pons here. He looks as though he's well held here. Gets the ball back inside, and that's got to be a good try in anybody's language. Cyril Pons is on the track there. I don't think they should have pulled him up from there. He's in a little bit of pain. Here we have it again. Cyril Pons outside. Now, watch Paul Eastwood. It just looks as though he's got Pons well covered. There's support inside. Now, this is where good wingmen do the right things. Keep the ball alive, support inside. You can see where Pons has gone, but that's a great try by France.
Oh, yes, as good as any we've seen.
And here, Schofield. Gary will be disappointed with this. David Fresh reads the game. Ellery Hanley keeps the ball alive again. And once Gary's following the man with the ball, he makes it look simple. But don't forget, Ellery, 3 tackles off there. And with a man with his strength, makes it look easy. Once Gary gets into the clear, there's no stopping him. There's no exception for pace.
But we still had, of course, a French try to come, and a spectacular one, an interception. Now that's a fire, Schofield, and Schofield's pass intercepted.
And that's from David Fresh, and 2 David Fresh and all. Now this fella also can run. I'd love to see this guy playing in England. He's a big lad, he's in the forces at this moment in time. That's just what he needed at that time, wasn't it?
Yeah, they loved it. And the players coming up the second half, well, we've said it many times in the first half, Alec, the French have got this fierce wind at their backs now. Can they use it?
Well, I wouldn't like to say. There's some of the lads off the cop here. There's a tremendous amount of British support here, and I've just got a little letter here from Simon and Barney and all the lads behind the post there, and I think they're enjoying the game. And lads, enjoy the game and keep out of trouble.
So back to the question, I think, Alec, can you and your mates find the post? Can France do it with the wind behind them, do you think?
Well, I think obviously France are going to enjoy playing with the wind behind the backs in this half. It'll be interesting to see what Great Britain do. The tackling obviously will have to be strong. They've done well in the first half. I think France are going to have to take the chances, but it should be a very, very interesting second half.
And if France do throw the ball about with all the flair and the excitement of which they're capable, we could have a good second half.
Yes, they've got men who can finish, and they like playing football. They know now they can score tries, and who knows, rugby league's a funny game.
So France will kick off, and with this tremendously strong wind, it really is a bitterly cold one despite the sunshine, and very, very powerful. France have it behind them as Fresh kicks off. Again, the problem in getting the ball to keep still.
I think it's going to be interesting, Keith, to see the tactics. Obviously, we know what France would like to do. They like playing football, but I think the kicking game is going to be very, very important.
Taken by Hanley. Darryl Powell. Now, if France get the first try in this half, they could still run Great Britain pretty close.
Yes, it's one of them games this where a try going to France early on in this second half could change the whole atmosphere here, because, you know, France are always in the game. They like playing, but this will show you a different phase of the game where the Great Britain, obviously, they're going to play amongst the forwards.
Edwards of fire. Well, not a lot of room for Martin of fire to. He prefers more room than that.
Well, I don't think Martin will thank Sean for that pass. I think he'll bring the grapes later on.
Schofield. And straight into touch. Ball back already. Great Britain facing the problems of the
yes,
wind.
and I don't think that's what Great Britain need. I don't think they should start panicking the kicking. I think the tactics should change a little bit here. I think the chip kick over the top might work here, and the grubber kick might work, but certainly kicking to touch is going to be very, very difficult.
Now Valerie Ramirez is acting half-back. He's quickly, now Sean Edwards so quickly onto him. Valero, Onta, Delaunay. And Valero and Onta. France have 2 substitutes on, Baba and Chamorin. Well, Valero well smothered. Final tackle of this sequence is Tisser to Onta, little chip kick. Bouncing awkwardly. It'll be the handover, but France already showing plenty of ideas.
Well, I think the most important thing about France is that obviously they're going to be prepared to take the game to Great Britain. Now, we did say that the wind was going to play a big factor in this second half, and obviously, the longer France have the ball, the more confident they will get.
So far, Great Britain in these opening minutes not able to get out of their own half, but of course, if they start unleashing the flowing attacks they did in the first half, when they scored 5 tries, they're capable of more, but they'll just be harder work.
Yes, I think the fella with the stats is going to be a very important man here. It's going to be about people who want to run with the ball, and here's a guy who wants to run with it every time he
And
gets
here's another one, Hanley. The strength of this man, Eastwood, kicking it ahead. He might get there. A fired in. Now, what's Mr. McCallum giving?
I think he's given a try. I think Martin Offiah got to that ball, and there was no doubt about it. That was a lovely break by Ellery Hanley, and again, Martin Offiah came from one side of the field to the other, read the game very well. Eastwood kicked the ball over. It looked as though it was going to go in touch, flirted back inside, and you've got to say, Martin Offiah reading the game, that's great play.
And the French, you could say unlucky, you could say it was careless defence.
Well, you always watch the ball. Watch Eastwood now. The ball comes inside, it bounces away. Martin Offiah, don't forget, was 60 yards away when this ball was kicked. He's got there and he scored the try.
So yet again, the tragic story of French Rugby League. They make a mistake and they're severely punished for it.
Well, they're punished for it, but they're punished for it by the man again. Dennis Betts made the break, supported by Ellery Hanley, and Martin Offiah reading the game. You've got to say that good players can do that, and he did it very, very well.
Good strong burst by Betts. Ellery Hanley refusing to be tackled. The long pass, well taken by Paul Eastwood. He kicked it ahead.
Yes, I think he does. It'll be interesting to see what his goal kicking is like against this wind, because it's very, very strong out there.
Well, he had some simple kicks in the first half, landed 5. Just a little harder into the teeth of this wind. And there you see exactly what happens, held out by the wind.
Well, that's not a bad effort by Eastwood, but that is the start again that Great Britain required. They obviously realised that to let France back into this game could be tragic. They know that every point that France scores goes against the tally of points against, and at the end of the day, when they come to add all these points up, it could cost them very dearly, but that's a good start from Great Britain.
Well, this is a World Cup rated game, and Great Britain want both the match points and the aggregate points. Powell. (35-10). Great Britain lead. Betts is having a splendid game.
Yes, he's this moment in time, he's my man of the match. He's a tremendous worker. He runs and supports men with the ball, and this is where you get the brave lads. It's nice finishing tries, but the fellas who do all the work are these guys here: Andy Platt, Dennis Betts. These are the workhorses.
Edwards, momentous bear on this side as Betts off again. A couple of fists, I think, went in, then collided with each other.
He's a bit too clever for that. He knew what was going on.
Edwards' kick. Held by the wind awkwardly for Ramirez.
But again, Keith, good support play by Great Britain. They're watching the game and they're reading the game. They realised that ball wasn't going to go in touch, and there was 2 or 3 players. If that ball had gone anywhere else, could have been another try.
There's excellent performance by Great Britain. Tisser. Valero is acting half-back. Boutignol.
I think what we will see from Great Britain is the flat line. They'll obviously know that France are going to put the ball deep, but they're also going to close them down very quickly.
Steve Hampson having to take it at the second attempt from that huge kick with the win. Hampson. Monta, Boutignol. Oh, Andy Platt coming up then. Made him take his eye off the ball.
Well, I think I'd have took my eye off the ball then too. I think if that had been Gary Schofield, there'd been another try on the cards.
Yes, there's a possible interception chance, certainly. Schofield. Fairbank going right through. Picked up Jackson.
I think you've got to say that the support play of the Great Britain lads is excellent. Every time there's a break, there's many support.
Edwards. Schofield deciding to hold on and getting it away to Powell. Powell, the little kick. Right. Touch judge's flag remains down. There's not a lot of room on that touch line. Marc Gisser putting in a lot of work, but not really making any ground, these French front row forward.
No, I think the French side look a little bit ragged at the moment. The Great Britain tackling is still as good as ever. And I think they're getting a little bit tactically wise. They're leaving a lot to be desired.
A bit of a wild kick. It might make it, though. Yes. Just. The wind carrying it again.
Yes, and I think that's the way. I think what the crowd are trying to tell the linesman, that that ball bounced at least another 25 metres farther on. But
I think he was in touch. I think he's about roughly right.
Yeah, well, he'll take it in good fun. He's having a little bit of a giggle, but if he was sat at the back where we are, I don't think he'd be smiling.
Mr. McCallum waiting for Lee Jackson to get across. The crowd don't like Sean Edwards scrum feeding.
I think what they've got to realise is that probably both coaches have said whoever throws the ball in gets it as long as it's not behind the scrum. They'll agree with that, and maybe have another ironic cheer from the French crowd, but it works both ways.
Well, Mr. McCallum, I think if there's any real finagling, would spot it. Darryl Powell. Well, Darryl Powell, a centre, first man.
I'd like to see him running a little bit wider out, Darryl Powell. I don't think, as a centre, that's the ideal place to run about.
Well, that's normally Andy Platt's role. There's Dennis Betts. Schofield, Lucas. Schofield. 35-10, Great Britain comfortably ahead and playing well. And that's awarded a penalty.
Well, he's awarded penalty for reaching and stopping him from playing the ball. You cannot do that when the man is playing the ball. You must stand in front of the man instead of trying to knock the ball out of his hands by putting your hand around.
So Great Britain with an opportunity to mount an attack. It hasn't been quite as easy in this second half against a more spirited French performance and against the wind. But here they go again with Eastwood making a good 30 yards with that strong burst. Flat. And another try now. Will surely stitch it up, even if it isn't stitched up already. Trying another move with Hanley. Powell. Being kept alive. Well, this is good rugby, this. A lot of men who handle this ball. Finally, Sean Edwards inside the continues.
I think Great Britain realise the short ball is always on, and you know, the way the supporting man with the ball is a try every time.
Look at Andy Platt. Watford.
Well, I wouldn't say that was the best tackling I've seen in a long time. To take nothing away from Andy Platt, he ran with the ball. He's a strong lad, and Andy can't believe he's lucky. He sells a dummy now. There's a little bit of, well, I wouldn't say bad tackling. I think it was atrocious tackling was the word, but take nothing away from Andy. He doesn't score a lot of these tries, and I think he'll enjoy this one. He's going for it. He's going for gold.
I bet he'll brag about it in the bar.
Yes, I think that tonight that
Alec.
try will get better and better.
With every drink of orange juice, of course.
But But again, that's a try that Great Britain needed. It takes them into the 40s. It's in very, very kickable position against the wind. And like I say, Andy Platt, he works tremendously hard, and that's a good try from him.
Yes, he'll take him into the 40s if Paul Eastwood flops it over, Alec, which he should do, although the wind again could drive straight into the path of the ball.
Well, I think where Sean Edwards is holding that ball, I don't think Paul, he would be very, very disappointed if he missed this one.
Well, it's probably give it a good whack and make sure it's right under the post. Bang, no doubt. We are in the 40s indeed. So in this second half, we thought France might call the tune with the wind, but really Great Britain still dominating it.
I think what's happened is that the lack of Dumas, who organises things, and France look a little bit disorganised. But Great Britain have closed them down very, very quickly. They're not giving, you know, much leeway to David Fresh and people of his calibre. But I would think Great Britain, if they get another 2 tries, they'll be very happy indeed.
Their performance loses nothing at all in comparison with the Australians. They're leading 41-10. Repeating the dose handed out by the Kangaroos twice. It's not yet 60. Oh, the crowd don't like that. They thought France should have the ball.
Well, I don't think they like it.
I think he's taking time out for the injury, if anything.
Yes, the man on the floor is injured, and you can't play this game when there's a man lying in a dangerous position. The referee is exactly right. He must stop the play if there's a player lying in the vicinity where he already is injured, but you can't play rugby with a man lying in front of you. You see it here. It looks as though he's got a knock in his cheekbone here. He's certainly doing some surgery on his head at the top there, the French lad, but when he gets up, you'll see the result.
It's Lee Jackson again, who's been in the wars, and he has to play the ball, Mr. McCallum says. So Mr. McCallum ruling that the ball was stolen from him after play had come to a stop when he was injured.
Yes, I think what he said was that, you know, I said stop play.
Oh, what a nice ball from Hampson to Gibson. Schofield. Audouin.
I think the happiest part about the way the Great Britain are playing is the absolute support play. Every time there's a break, there's a man on either side, and I've never seen them support a man with the ball as well.
And if you add to that their tackling, it's a pretty good all-round performance.
Yes, it's always very difficult to come to France and win, but to win with a little bit of class, it gives you that little bit of pride.
Boudignol. Onta, good deep kick. He made it. Appreciative round of applause. The Perpignan crowd, they do love their rugby and they do know it.
Yes, they're very, very good supporters. I think they're a little bit deflated, aren't they, with this performance. I think the Great Britain lads have really stuck to the task. They know how how it was going to be, and they know how the French people would like it to be. But they've got other ideas.
Close to the Great Britain line, but of course Great Britain have the feed and the loose head and get the ball. Hampson. Great Britain is hungry for the ball now as they were in the early stages. Hanley. Well, strangely enough, in this run riot, Ellery not yet on the scoring sheet.
I would think he's not on the score sheet, but this fella is. He's had a tremendous game, Dennis Betts. He's running like the Dennis Betts we all know.
Fairbank. Platt. Wow, Poor Tisser, he gets a loose ball and then drops it.
Well, when things are not going right, they certainly don't go right. But Great Britain take nothing away from them. I think everything they're doing with a little bit of class and a little bit of style.
I think Darrell Powell, as we saw from that slow motion replay, was quietly taken out of the game by the scruff of the neck. But Tisser's knock-on gives Great Britain another chance. Mr. McCallum rules the ball did not come out cleanly. Hanley. Jackson recovered after his 2 knocks. As Great Britain go looking for another try. Betts having a stormer of a game. I think I'll go along with you, Alex, man of the match.
Yes, he's had a tremendous game, Dennis Betts. He's a very, very strong boy, and every time he runs with the ball, he looks as though there's going to be a try resulting from it.
Now Schofield, Great Britain ready to work a move with Edwards. Hanley breaking the tackle but losing the ball. Cyril Pons not able to get away. And the ball lost again, this time by Pons. Back it comes with Fairbank. Jackson.
I think they all want to get on the score sheet. I think
Well, Andy Platt's done it.
Well, I think if they move it to the right here, there certainly looks as though there's a try on the cards.
Well, there's no one, hardly anybody on the left-hand side of the park, and sure enough it goes. Men to spare. Almost too many. Almost too elaborate. Powerful pressure by Great Britain. 41 points they have. They're hungry for more. Schofield. Strangely enough, he didn't move the ball out then.
He's got many supports. I think the French closed him down pretty quickly. But these are the positions the working move from.
Lucas off fire, but that was a knock-on or a forward pass or
Mr.
whatever.
McAllister, Mr. McCallum was dead on the spot. Martin of Fire made it look simple, didn't he?
Yeah.
The basics, when you do the basics right, this game is simple.
Interesting point about playing to the whistle. I mean, Martin put the ball down before he turned around to see what the referee had ruled.
Well, he was always told you always put the ball over the line, and the referee, who knows, may not have seen it.
Lee Jackson's going off after all the knocks he's had. So Richie Ayres gets a run out. Richard Ayres, the strong running witness forward. Audouin. Pons. But he's not had more chances, Cyril Pons. He really is an exciting runner.
Yes, he's a good player, and he's not getting the chances.
But look at that awful ball. Really, just when France had a line out.
I think one or two of the French lads just look as though they've lost heart, and you know, it's a lost cause.
And a gift to Carl Gibson. He looks up accusingly at his molester, but play goes on. Edwards, Schofield. Schofield pushing a man off. St. Janellis has made his appearance. So the subs have been given a little run.
Yes, I think Malcolm really now realises that the game's won, and he's going to give as many people as possible their international debut. It's always important that they get on the field, because to bring a lad all the way to France and not put him on the park, you've got to be able to play in France.
Now, Audouin, he's had a good start to his international career.
He looks a
Played
very
well.
lively player, and I think the crowd can appreciate plays like that.
And indeed, local lad, Tres Catalan. On top. Oh, that was high. Mr. McCallum didn't see anything wrong with it.
Well, he's an Australian, and they're used to tackling hard in Australia, but I think Dennis Betts again, I obviously believe, I think he tackled him man and ball. He's a big, strong lad, and this is a big, strong game.
Onta. That's meant for Cyril Pons on the charge. Makes touch. Well, still 10 minutes or so before the end of this match at 41-10. Great Britain have prevented France from scoring any points in the second half despite the ferocious gale. Very, very disciplined and good performance. Now, Mr. McCallum's coming back to see his touch judge. While that's the reason for the delay.
I think what he looks as though he's saying, I hope not, is that, you know, that was a head-eye tackle. It certainly wasn't. Surely Greg McCallum was right on the spot. He's bringing him back here. It'll be for the incident of Dennis Betts, but believe me, that was a tackle which Greg McCallum surely would have seen, and the referee's on the spot.
And yet, he has gone back and he's taken the advice of the touch judge that it was indeed a high tackle.
Well, he might be given a high tackle, but I think the referee in them cases should overrule the man because he was right on the spot. There's no doubt about it. I mean, a penalty at this time is going to do France no good, but I think he should just referee the game. He saw the incident and I don't think there was anything wrong with it.
Yes, I mean, it's easy to referee the game from up here, Alec, but he could have said to the touch judge, well, thank you for your intervention, but the way I saw the incident, it wasn't a foul. Let's get on with the game. But at least the difference is that France have possession, whereas before it would have gone to Great Britain. So they've got some advantage, whether they can make something of it. Molinaire. Lost possession. Molinaire getting extremely annoyed with Richard Ayres. Yet another penalty. David Fraisse will find touch. So a late run by France. It won't make much difference to the result, but it might to the scoreline.
Well, I think the Great Britain lads will want to keep France out from here. They don't want to give them any more points.
Tisser, oh dear, what an anti-climax. What a terrible anti-climax. Tisser just went without the ball on the first tackle.
Well, I think that summed it up as far as France is concerned. Everything they're doing, they look very badly organised. They look as though they've lost interest. And they can't wait till the whistle goes.
Sean Edwards. And it continues. St. John Ellis. Gibson. Ayres. Lucas. Good ball. Ellis. Being held on the ground. It got to be a penalty. Wouldn't let him get up. Chamorro, the offender. No need to make too much ground, and against this wind, not possible.
Well, just making sure it is very, very important. And this is where Great Britain want to be. I think you'll see them now just moving this ball about a little bit. I think they'll not settle on the score. I think they'll want another try.
Fairbank. He's certainly keen enough. Leon, says the referee, allowing Carl Fairbank to get up. Here's Sean Edwards. Betts. Betts rolling it out. Now Martin Offiah. And again he goes over, but again Mr. McCallum says probably 7 or 8 knock-ons.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a
conservative
fumble,
estimate.
He'll be a little bit disappointed, Martin. He's been over the line 3 times, and 3 times he's been brought back. You wonder what he has to do to score a try.
Well, he's already got 2, so...
he's got 2, and I think his 200 try as well. I think that's very, very important. You see Martin, he's done a little bit of a soft.
Oh, look at this. What a gift to Sean Edwards. Oh, dear me. What a comedy of errors.
Well, when it's going wrong, it certainly does go wrong. And Sean Edwards is never a guy to miss an opportunity like that. And France surely going from bad to worse.
Well, that was just a loose pass thrown from behind the scrum. Nobody was there. Nobody wanted it apart from Sean Edwards. And he gobbled it up.
I think that tells its own story, that France have really looking to me as though they've threw the towel in. It's, you know, Andy Plattier and Richard Hers having a conversation. It just looks like a Sunday afternoon outing.
Yes, with all the high hopes that France had and the spirit they showed in scoring their 2 tries, it's all collapsing in ruins now, and that really was a comedy.
But I think it take nothing away from Great Britain. I think this is the best Great Britain performance that I've seen since the first test. They've played well as a team, they've done everything right, and I think they can improve on this.
Hopefully. .45-10, Paul Eastwood. Can he kick this one into the wind? Under normal circumstances, it should be well within his compass. He has this powerful wind to contend with as the Perpignan spectators behind us begin to drift away. Well, a bit unlucky then. I think he allowed for the wind and not much happened.
Yes, it went straight, but great performance all round. Paul Eastwood's had a very, very satisfactory game. I think so has 1 or 2 of the other lads. But certainly my man of the match by a mile is Dennis Betts. Here you see him striking the ball. Looks as though it's going to just bend in, keep straight, hits the upright and bounces out.
Comfortable win now for Great Britain as the disgruntled Perpignan fans begin to make their way to the exits. But of all the people to knock on over his own line, Ellery Hanley.
He's looking at the ball as though he's something wrong with the ball. I think the wind had a little bit to do with that.
A great perfectionist about his own game, Ellery. There's the drop out. Now then, the handshakes, and that final try sealed it. Great Britain beat France by 45 points to 10. Pick up the World Cup points in a sentence, Alec. You couldn't have wished for a more clinical performance.
No, great performance from Great performance from Great Britain. 2 World Cup points and a great performance.
Good in attack, good in defence. 8 tries. France overwhelmed just as they were by the Australians. We're taking now a commercial break.